Now, here's a great story that even my haters would actually appreciate about a father who ends up kicking his fiancée to the curb shortly before the wedding after it became quite clear that she was going to become a wicked stepmother to his 9-year-old daughter. Title: Am I the a-hole for telling my fiancée my daughter has to be in our wedding? He says here, I, a 45-year-old male, have a daughter we'll call P from a previous relationship. I divorced my ex-wife on good terms and we share 50-50 custody of her. She is now 11 years old. Okay, she's 11 years old. After I divorced my ex-wife, I met my now fiancé, S. S and my daughter get along very well. Sure about that? After 5 years of my relationship, I proposed. She was super excited and wanted to start planning the wedding right away. She looked at venues and started asking her friends to be her bridesmaids. Shocker. She then told me that she wanted her niece to be a flower girl, which I had no problem with, but I also told her that I wanted my daughter to be a flower girl as well. She looked at me very funny and said that she didn't think that P would fit the part. You could have an 11-year-old flower girl. Usually they're younger, but who cares? His daughter's going to be a part of the wedding, and after all, they get along so well, so what's the problem? I got angry and told her that my daughter would be in our wedding. She started to become upset and said that the girls in the wedding were up to her, and P would not be one of them. This is our wedding, sweetheart. Not just your wedding, so if my daughter is going to be a part of it, that's not going to be an issue here. I told her that if P wasn't in the wedding, then there might not be a wedding. I stormed out and took P to get some ice cream. There you go. Lay down the law. This guy is light years away from a lot of other typical guys out there who would just cave because they're afraid that this is the only girl that ever paid attention to him. And this isn't this guy's first rodeo. Frankly, he shouldn't be getting married a second time after a divorce, but, you know. My daughter knows that we are getting married and told me she thinks she will look pretty in whatever dress S decides she should wear, and this broke my heart. And I decided to text S, and I told her that I would be staying at my friend's to think this over. My soon-to-be mother-in-law texted me saying that I was overreacting and that my daughter doesn't have to be in my wedding, and I was an ass for saying that I would cancel. So already there's issues. He obviously doesn't get along with the mother-in-law, and he has every right to say she's going to be in the wedding. He is allowed to have a say about this. This idea that it's all about the bride, even though people make it that way, is bullshit. He says, so, did I take it too far in saying I will cancel? Am I overreacting or just being a good dad? No, you're not overreacting. And there should be other red flags going off as well. But your daughter comes first no matter what. And it is not the end of the world. You know, typical weddings will have people from both families mixed in with the bridesmaids, the grooms. I've been in plenty of freaking weddings. I've been in weddings, and I know how this whole thing works. So something's definitely up. But she obviously is a selfish, entitled a-hole bridezilla. And you're about to see that her true color is really about to come out and how she feels about the daughter. Now with the update, he says here, hey Reddit, thank everyone for all the kind words and suggestions. To answer a few questions, my daughter is not disabled, chubby, or having an awkward face, braces or glasses. I did ask P could be a groomsman, and S immediately shot it down. My fiancée is 39 years old, and she is the same race as my daughter, and this is her first marriage. I try to answer as many comments as possible. So his fiancée, this is her first marriage. What does that say about his fiancée? That she's 39 years old and she couldn't get a guy to marry her before, which tells me she's probably was one of these women that are psychotically picky, who thought that no guy was good enough for them. That's what it tells me. 39 years old, first marriage, and now she's being a bridezilla because she's waited all her life for her perfect wedding. I came home today to talk to my fiancée, and when I pulled in the driveway, my mother-in-law was sitting there in her car. I got out and went inside trying to avoid talking to her. Is this your house? So you don't have to walk on eggshells around her. I got out and went inside trying to avoid the mother-in-law. My fiancée was sitting at the kitchen table and I joined her. She sat in silence, so I asked the first question. Why does P not fit the part for the wedding? And why don't you want her in the wedding at all? Her answer fully shocked me. She quietly said that I was hoping that after the wedding, you could become a holiday visit only dad. I didn't want her in the wedding, so she shouldn't be in the photos around the house since she wasn't going to be around so much. I'd be like, excuse me? This is the same my daughter that you get along with so well, and all of a sudden you're saying that I'm going to be a holiday visit dad. In other words, the second we get married, she's going to become the wicked stepmother to use her ways to make sure that he never gets to see the daughter. And I bet she'll be pregnant pretty quickly, and that daughter be cast aside. One of these types. Oh, hell no. I kept my cool and calmly took her hand and pulled off my engagement ring. Her eyes started to tear up, and she said we shouldn't end the marriage over this and that she can change. Bull freaking shit. She's been putting on a big show the entire time. She didn't like his daughter. But you know what? This whole thing is a blessing in disguise. He's dodging a big one because he could marry her and it'd be a whole big act. Then she'd pull this wicked stepmother crap the second they got married. I told her the damage was already done. I told her I wanted her things moved out by the next week and she could come and get them when my daughter wasn't home. The house is in my name and I paid for it. I was allowing her to get her furniture that she paid for. She stormed out and my mother-in-law came knocking on the door saying I was being unreasonable. I'd be like, mother-in-law, get the fuck out. You are lucky your daughter had a chance with me, a good guy, and she blew it. She's your problem now. Get off my fucking property. Don't tell me what's what. I couldn't imagine only seeing my daughter 3-4 times a year. The fact that my fiancé wanted me to give up part of my custody blew me away. I'm sitting on my couch just in shock. Our honeymoon was supposed to be in Hawaii. Looks like me and my daughter will be going instead. I will update again if anything happens. Oh, please. Update again. So good for this guy. Guys, new relationship guys, maybe you've been married and divorced and you have a kid. Your kids come before any future girlfriend, or if you even think about getting married again. I don't care what. And be careful that a future girlfriend or fiance acts so nice with your kids. This could happen. He really thought that they had a good thing going. She'd be a good stepmom and all that. And all of a sudden, she doesn't want her in the wedding. Big clue there. And also the fact that she's never been married before, 39 years old. What does it say about her? And then tries to make it that he's a visit-only dad. Are you kidding me? But then again, nothing surprises me. So good for him. Definitely kicked her to the curb.